Welcome back. Halloween edition, baby. Shout out to my Lions. Let's go. You got El Micho Loco right here, the number one Lions fan in all of Mexico. And joining me today, Jacob, I'll let you run it from there.
Excellent. Yeah, we got we're Wayne here from Wayne's World, classic costume, staple piece. But yeah, thanks for joining us on our Halloween edition. Shouts out to the league members for not volunteering their time or costumes for our episode this week. We have a luchador in Wayne, two of the most iconic things you could bring to a podcast, and you're just not even going to show up. So shame on you guys. But we can kind of get right into it.
So last week look for us.
Last week, you caught up a little bit. So we had me versus Josh. I took that one. We had that one pretty pegged from early on, both, right?
Yeah, a bit nervy there, though, huh?
That was yeah. For a while. Definitely made my butt pucker a little bit. Not the most ideal outcome here. Just let me see where I got a little scared here. None of my players besides, Aaron Jones and Gibson both threw up less than 10. Tyreek had a shit day. Definitely a little scary, but we pulled through. Our next one where we split here was Stu versus Bordeaux. Bordeaux won. Stu's team couldn't carry that momentum. The Outlaws and Tony Island. This is where Tony Island won. We thought the Outlaws were going to get a victory, and they just couldn't quite do it. Next matchup, Broken Step and Najee and the Jets. Broken Step's team had a 4 week. That was one where we both were right. And Najee then Macon, he was looking real good. Definitely looking like he's going for it, which was nice. Then we had Macon and you. That one was where you were right. You picked up one on the pick'ems. You picked yourself. I picked Macon because of Derrick Henry, and well, that just didn't work out for us.
Derrick Henry or bust there.
It was Derrick Henry or bust, and it was a bust, unfortunately. Schneidi and the Lonely Boys. Schneidi won. We both had that pegged. So now going into the week, I just got the standings pulled up a little bit. Couple 6-win teams, couple 5-win teams. Only one person's in at 4-3. Then the rest under 500. Starting to shake out a little bit. J-Rod's the only one doing good at making his pick valuable for Stu. But outside of that, it's starting to really shake out a little bit. Hopefully it separates a bit more and we kind of see who's for real and who's not and get some action this week. So
yeah, I think Najee and Macon probably flip-flop here. And if Najee climbs up even to first, second, third, it wouldn't really surprise me. But I think Macon's probably the fifth best team after the three on top here and Najee. Broken Step, he's been hot and he's been a little cold, so I think he's probably accurate. Schneidi and Joel seems about right. I mean, I think this is probably like pretty accurate for how we end the year.
Yeah, I could see Steve's team moving up a couple spots. I know Joel doesn't want to move up spots, but I mean, that's just realistically, he's going to go up a few. His team isn't bad enough to keep losing. And these other guys who are really trying to tank as well are doing a pretty good job of it. J-Rod's 0-7. We got Josh's team, after he decided to blow it up, has really committed to that, lost 5 straight. So
started 2-0.
Started 2-0.
4 points, said, forget about it.
It's over.
I'm out of here.
Made it easier for us guys up top, though. But we can kind of get right into the couple moves that happened this week, which are a little bit interesting. So the first one is going to be a trade where you acquired the 2022 first round pick, 2022 second round pick. So looking projected right now, the 4th pick and the 10th pick in the respective rounds for T. Higgins. You shipped him out and got a couple pieces for this year's draft. What made you pull the trigger on that one?
So I keep up on like the fantasy football media quite a bit. And T. Higgins is like the number one buy low on planet Earth right now. His targets are still pretty good. His air yards are pretty solid. It's just not really developing for him yet, right? So knowing that he's a buy low, I know that another person who keeps up with this type of stuff will be interested, right? So it kind of opens up a selling window, because if a player is just doing bad, but they aren't considered a buy low by fantasy football media, they're just going to be known as bad, like Odell Beckham Jr., right?
Yep.
No
Yep.
one's really shelling out for him right now. No one's calling him a buy low. They just think he's lost it. Where T. Higgins, people aren't describing him that way. So it opens up a sell window. For me, unless he's a top 15, 20 wide receiver in the league, he's just really not going to see my starting lineup on a consistent basis. And I don't think one has that in him. I think Jamar Chase is the clear alpha there. I don't know if Higgins can return to form. I think he'll be better than he has been, but I don't think he gets to that top 20 wide receiver area again. So I was comfortable selling him. So at that point, it's just try to get as much as you can, really.
Yeah, no, it was just pretty interesting. Because that does make a lot of sense. If he's not going to start for you, you might as well get some stuff. You're going to be one of the top teams. You're going to be a playoff team. So it was a little interesting to see you put a young guy like that up and out of here so quickly. But it is a Jamar Chase show over in Cincinnati. So
yep. I also have Mixon, and I didn't want to play both of them, but I needed the running back, and Mixon's had a great year already. I needed him more than I needed T. Higgins. So take some of my deeper depth here is kind of where he is. I mean, he's probably like my 7th best wide receiver on the team, 8th best maybe when he was on the squad. So flip him into some picks. The fact I was able to get what's right now a top 5 pick, I was super happy with it. I gave up pick 13 last year for him. So
yeah, not bad. You definitely turned it into a big profit, but that was a pretty good move. You actually made another one, which I would consider an even better move. So the other activity for us this week, the other trade, the only other thing that really happened was you picking up another 2022 first rounder, a 2023 second rounder. You shipped off Damian Harris and a 2023 third rounder. Break that one down for me.
So Zach making moves had sent me a trade offer for Damian Harris that kind of sucked, but what it did is it told me that he's interested, right? Which is perfect for me. Damian Harris has been mostly average this year, but he just played the Jets and played like half of the game and got like 25 points. I mean, every running back has been absolutely just murdering the Jets. So it was a perfect time to sell. I think he's going to have a pretty productive year still. I mean, he's the 15th ranked running back right now, and he's, like I said, been fairly average. But I just don't trust the Patriots backfield really. So I feel like, again, it kind of opened up a sell window coming off that big game. And he's kind of a depth pick for me too. I mean, I have Mixon, I have Saquon, I have James Robinson. He's my 4th guy. I still have Gainwell. I have a couple other young guys. So I didn't see him starting for me really. Even if he was a top 10 running back, it's hard to trust that every week with the Patriots. So yeah, just moving some depth and getting some picks out of it.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. It's a little interesting getting a lot of these next year first rounders because I don't feel there's a lot coming out of that. But when you're getting rid of guys, Damian Harris very well next year could be the guy healthy scratched every single week for the Patriots because that's just what the Patriots do.
Yeah.
So to be able to turn them into a little bit of something is really nice. Especially you did get that 2023 second rounder, so there should be a lot of depth in that draft too. So
I wanted those years flipped. I was shooting for the 2023 first, but Zach was pretty stern on the 2022. So I said, you know what? That's fine. Let's do it.
Yep, why not pull the trigger? No, it was a good move on your part. I think you sold Damian at his highest. I don't think he's going to get much more value added to him this year.
Right.
But no, I mean, that was a pretty good move. It gave you a lot of capital for a team that's going to be a contender this year. So you're sitting in a good spot for your future to come, whether it's trading those picks and those assets you've accumulated or using them for the future. So
Right.
pretty good week for you fantasy wise. Well, we can turn the corner and go into next week's matchups, get the pick'ems out of the way. First matchup we're going to talk about is my team going up against Macon, a couple of the top dogs going at it this week. I'm obviously going to pick myself every single week. My team's stacked enough to do that and confidently say that. It is going to be a close matchup. His team's no slouch, but I still think I'm going to come out on top. What do you see?
Yeah, I'm going to take you as well. I think it is a close one, but I mean, I know I was kind of half joking when I said Derrick Henry or bust earlier, but if Derrick Henry doesn't put up 40 or 30 at least for him every week, his chances of winning just drop drastically. So he has a tough division matchup on the road. Even if he only scores 20, right? I talk about that like 20 is like a bad number. Like, I just don't know if that's enough to carry the squad. So I'm going to take you in this one.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking. That, and for some reason, uh, I don't see the New Orleans game going very good for Mike Evans. I don't see, Tom Brady is going to put up a few points, but that defense of New Orleans is pretty for real. And so I don't see that being, the other staple piece of his offense. But hopefully it goes the way we want. And going into next matchup, you against Stu. This is going to be a good one for the old shit talking in the group chat, that's for sure. I don't think it's going to be too competitive, though. I think you're going to take it and it won't be too close.
Yeah. I just picked up his first round pick this week with that T. Higgins trade. So I'm going to take him out behind the shed and we're going to just put him down.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what it's going to look like. His team could definitely put some points up. I just don't think it's going to be enough. Your team is super stacked. I mean, just you go top to bottom and there's really no holes or no glaring holes. And, he's starting Mo Alley Cox. So that's got to tell you something.
Yeah. Rough shape there.
Yeah, so we're both in agreement there. Next matchup we have for the week is the Lonely Boys against Mr. Bordeaux. Bordeaux 6-1, Lonely Boys looking to tank. I think, with the 50-point projection there, I think it is pretty straightforward. Bordeaux's taking this one. It's not close.
Yeah, give me Bird.
Yep, we don't need to get into that, Joel. Have fun taking your L. Appreciate it. You won't get too many of those. Najee and the Jets and Tony Island. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Najee's going to win. I don't think we need to get into it too much. Jason Seymour put up some points. They're not going to hit a ceiling. He could have all floor hits for his team and still beat Jason this week.
Yeah, I don't know how on earth anyone has projected more points than Jamar Chase right now, but yeah, Najee should take this one.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. I don't think any of these are actually going to be too exciting for us, unfortunately. But we do have our next one, which is going to be Broken Steps and first string running back. So Josh and Joe going at it. I mean, just looking at it, he doesn't even have a quarterback in, and he's projected to win by 12 points. I just don't think it's going to be particularly close. I think, Ezekiel Elliott is going to have a pretty big game. Whatever quarterback he throws in there, he's just got some players that could really put up some points. Although Eckler did come up hurt today, so maybe that does affect it a bit. But again, even without the quarterback, it's looking pretty much like a Joe win.
Yeah, I won't lie. I'm a little tempted to take fourth string here. Looking at Joe's team, I believe his only backup quarterback is Trey Lance.
It sure is.
So he might be in a bit of a predicament there. The other thing I noticed is CeeDee Lamb is playing, but what happens if Dak Prescott does not play or if he gets injured? So I'm going to take Joe here, but I just want to be on record and say that this might be a closer match than we expect.
Fair enough. No, I mean, and his guys who need to hit definitely could bring him over. Kyler could have an absolute monster game tonight. He's going to tear Green Bay apart. Khalif Raymond isn't a very sexy name by any means, but he's been getting targets. He's been putting up double-digit weeks. Mooney, same thing. He's taken over A-Rob's role over in Chicago. James Conner's looked pretty good at times.
Yeah,
they're not sexy.
Producing a lot.
Not sexy names by any means, but I think it will be close. Unfortunately, Josh, I think you are going to take the L, which I mean, ultimately you want to do so. Keep on taking those L's. The last one we got is the brother matchup. I wish we would have had one of them on this week for this here rivalry. Brother v. brother, the Outlaws versus Schneidi. Go ahead and you take this one away. I think it's pretty straightforward, but what do you see happening?
Man, J-Rod has been my favorite guest on the podcast so far, and he is due for a win. So with that said, I am going to actually take Schneidi's team. I don't think it's this week. I think Schneidi actually has some talent on his team and has a ceiling that he could realistically achieve. And man, J-Rod's just like, he's like those like leftovers in the fridge who've been there for 2 weeks and you're like borderline, like, should I eat them or feed them to the dog or throw them away? Like those are the guys he's starting. So I'm going to take Schneidi on this one, but shout out J-Rod.
J-Rod, we're with you in spirit. Shouts out to you.
Unless you
number one guest. But you just unfortunately are going to continue to be number 12 in the league.
Yeah.
So we didn't have anything go contrarian this week. So our matchups this week were 30. I'm 30-6 in the pick'ems. You're 28-8. This week won't change too much, but we're getting to that point in the season. You know, we had the big bye week, but there's 2 to 4 teams off every single week for the next like 5. We're going to run into some mismatches, some upsets. I think we're really going to start differentiating here soon.
Yeah.
Pretty short pod though today. I think it's pretty straightforward. This week wasn't too exciting. I don't recall when our trade deadline is, but I know that's like a month or so away. Less
I
than
believe
even.
it's late November.
Let's see.
Click
Does it?
league and then settings, I believe.
Let's see if we
Rules
go.
maybe. Try rules right there.
Yeah, there she is.
Bottom right, November 23rd.
Yeah, so
So, couple weeks still.
less than a month away. And I see some moves coming, whether it's teams really committing to the tank, a couple of those middle of the pack teams looking to improve. I know I don't think I'm done making moves. I just don't think there's going to be any big splashes from the top anymore. You kind of drained every one of their first round picks.
I like it.
Yes, so pretty
on that
short week
note,
for us.
That is all of our picks. That's our recap. Pretty inactive week. I mean, everyone's still been active, but nothing super exciting outside a couple trades there. We are owed a hot take of the week. So, Mr. Wayne, what do you got for us?
Yeah, we're gonna party on in Detroit Rock City. I think the Lions are gonna get their first win this week. The
There we
Eagles
go.
ain't shit. And this is it. This is where we get our first dub, probably our only dub. Luchador Lion is on board, so let's do it. Party on.
On that note, we're out of here. Happy Halloween, everybody.